guys, and welcome back. It has been a minute since you've seen me in this setup here. We're back in the beauty room today, and I decided that we need to start out with a cleaning and a decluttering here because my beauty room has been a hot mess. I've kind of let it be, let it be for a really long time, and it's just overwhelming. I need to kind of get my stuff together, and what better way to do that than with a declutter and a big cleaning. So I'm gonna take you guys along through it because I feel like these videos are always really fun to kind of look at and do together. So let me just start by flipping you guys around, showing you the whole situation, what all the drawers look like, and then we'll get to this declutter. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, here we got my classic desk setup. I also have my bookshelf over here, which I don't know if I actually really showed before I took my hiatus, but that thing is stuffed full of random stuff. There's some makeup, a lot of it's random like junk and things. I got purses on the floor over there, random tripod, cleaning supplies because we're gonna need those. I got random things over here in the corner that I've been using, some things that I need to unbox. I of course have my coffin bookshelf. She's still there looking very pretty. But yeah, basically the makeup room has been very much ignored. I haven't gone through my collection in, well, since the last declutter, I want to say. And I mean, I've gotten new product. I also have a lot of old product. So we need to go through and just reorganize all this stuff. Oh gosh, the eyeshadow drawers. I have one, I have two. This needs to go down drastically. That was just the first drawer here. Second tower drawer over here. We got a random one up top. Lots of random products in there. My highlighters and blushes. Completely random, like, junk makeup drawer. Lip liners, lip glosses, lipsticks, anything lippy in here. And then lastly, we got some misplaced items here, but this is probably my smallest drawer. This is supposed to be like foundations and powders and things, but it was reduced drastically last time, and I haven't really gotten that many new foundations and powders and things. So those are the two drawers right there. And my goal with this whole declutter is I want to be able to minimize into one individual tower of drawers. That way I have one open for typical desk stuff. Because I mean, I have pens I need to organize and things like that I need to be able to work with. This point right now, everything that is not makeup is like out on the desk or like on the side of it. That's, don't even want to show you, it's just in a pile. This is probably going to be a multi-part series, so this is going to be the first one here. I know that looking over here and then looking at like the coffin shelf, there is still more makeup up here, so I may have several parts with this entire series. I mean, I'm gonna definitely be splitting it up because it's gonna be a lot to go through, but this should feel really good by the end of it. It's just such a waste to have all this pretty makeup and not be able to use it. So we're gonna go through it all and clean it up, see what we keep, see what we give away, that whole shebang. So let me set up the camera the proper way, and we are gonna start with the bronzers, contours, everything that is gonna be inside of this drawer right here for today's video. Also, quick side note, I don't know why I didn't listen to anybody else when they said don't get a white rug for a beauty room. Yeah, it is stained with makeup everywhere and it's so awful. I think I'm gonna have to replace this rug. First things first, let's go ahead and start by clearing out the drawer of all the product. That way we can clean it up and go through all the items so I know what I want to keep, what I want to toss. Let's do it. Okay, so everything's cleaned out. I organized everything up on my desk so I'm easily able to kind of look through everything. So let's kind of get started here. I'm gonna go through some of the easy stuff that I know I want to get rid of. And I mean, right off the bat, I got two products here. I don't even know how old this one is. This is like a nostalgia product. Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. I used to love this thing. You can see I use the absolute loving everything out of that pan there. That was a great contour shade for a while for me a few years ago. The Profusion Contour Palette here. Another very pretty one. I did actually really enjoy using this one. I did typically stick to just using the shade though, which is one of the annoying things with like these big contour palettes. If you don't have a lot of different people you're working on and you're just working on yourself, it really doesn't make much sense to me personally to have such a large contour palette. So that's why I'm getting rid of these two. Another easy go is the Stila bronzer here. This one, what was this? Shade number 1. This one always came off a little bit orangey to me. I don't know why I actually kept this. I did enjoy it for a little while there. I think this was before I really got into the whole hardcore makeup, so I just kind of held on to it. But yeah, a little bit orangey. Oh, another Wet n Wild product here. This was their Ticket to Brazil Memories. Yeah, I really didn't use this one all that much. It's still pretty much fresh in there, but it was a nice little bronzer, just very old now. That's gonna be a theme of a lot of the products here, just a FYI. Oh, which leads into this one. The ABH Contouring Palette. I hadn't opened this one in a couple of years, and I mean, it just looks like really dry in there. You can see the clumping. I honestly forgot I had this. This was buried underneath different stuff. I just found it recently. Yeah, this one's gotta go. That does not look good. More product that's a little bit older. I got the LA Girl Contour Concealer Stick right here. Well, it's not really contour, but it's concealer. This one's super old. Another one that I forgot I had in the drawer. This one actually was really good, so honestly, I would buy this again, just very old. Physicians Formula Bronzer. Oh, wow. That one is shimmery all over the place. Yeah, this one's been in here for a while. Gotta go. Another easy to get rid of here. I got the Makeup Revolution Baked Bronzer. This one is very pretty, but it's just not one that I really use. It's super light. I mean, you can barely see it on my skin there, and it's shiny, so I don't really use that one. I also have this one here that was the Beauty Benefits. This one was from the Dollar Tree. I used it a handful of times. It's not a bad bronzer if you're on a budget, but it just wasn't one of my favorites that I reach for all that much, so let's get rid of these two. Another to the get rid of pile, we got the Milani Intense Bronzer Glow. This one is just way too shiny. It's basically like a bronzing highlighter. I mean, this thing is just like super shimmery. Look at that. Just not my preferred type of bronzer. I like a little bit more of a matte look. If I'm adding in highlighter, I'll go in with an actual like highlighter on top. So yeah, this one just wasn't for me. Okay, let's talk about one that I'm actually gonna be keeping because I've been getting rid of a lot here. This ABH Italian Summer Face Palette. This one has a bronzer, highlighter, and a blush in it. This is my every single day use palette here. I absolutely love this. This one, I mean, you can see I've hit pan in it, use that, blush every day. Highlighter, not so much. I'm not really into too much highlighter anymore. Just something I've kind of started to phase out a little bit, but this is a very cute, like subtle highlighter if I want more of a dewy, kind of glowy look. Absolutely love this palette. I'm gonna give a quick cleaning to the sides here. There we go, a little bit of a refresh, and then, oh, this will be the first one that gets to go in this drawer. And then speaking of palettes, I got this giant one by Cab Cosmetics. This is their Volume 1 Contour. It has 8 shades in here. You do get actually quite a lot of product in here. I mean, they are very large pans. But again, this is just one of those that for me personally, I found myself not really reaching for all that much. It's just too much for my one face. It's very big, it's very bulky, so I don't travel with it or anything like that. I think I'm gonna end up giving this one away because it's still pretty new, so I think I can gift this away. Oh, but one that is gonna be staying here is this Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow palette. There we go. This one has a bronzer and a highlighter in it. This one is very new to the collection, so I wanna keep this one. It is very pretty, and I mean, it is Natasha Denona. I can't not keep it. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, this one, staying put. Next up, we got 2 products here by Makeup Revolution. This large one over here is their Mega Bronzer in Cool. And this is the Makeup Obsession. Oh, it is dropping powder everywhere. Large bronzer in Natural. And I did a pre-swatch here on my hand. You can see Natural over here, Cool Bronze right here. And Cool Bronze is definitely something a little bit more for me than Natural. Oh man, do you have to have very pale skin for this to actually show up? I mean, this is just after one swipe and you barely see it. So it's just one that I didn't really gravitate towards because you do really have to layer it, but I was like, I am determined, I'm gonna use this. So yeah, this larger one was definitely a little bit more my speed, but again, it's a little bit older. I think I'll get rid of it. Then surprisingly, I only have 3 different cream bronzers. I have the Cream Shop. This one is one of those cushion ones. This one's in the shade Toasty. Just need a little bit of a reminder of this one. And now I remember this one. Okay, so I didn't actually use this one too much because it is a little bit too dark in the shade for me. I remember I actually had some trouble with the blending of this one. So this one I am gonna get rid of. This ABH in the shade Amber. This one is a much more recent one. This one I got in BoxyCharm before I canceled. Put that right up there. Now before I decide on this one, I do want to swatch out the Yensa one. Just super quick because this one was a more recent one as well. This is their Sunlit Glow shade. So I'll go ahead and swatch that right above that. So there you go. You can see the 3 different shades. So I'm getting rid of the Cream Shop. I actually think I'll keep the Yensa one. This one looks like a very pretty kind of light shade. That's a good bronzer base for me. This one, it's always good for me to swatch them out because sometimes I do forget. I remember I did have some kind of like issues with this one. So I think I'll actually get rid of the ABH one as well. I'll give this one away because this one is very recent. But I think I might hang on to the Yensa there because that's a very pretty one. And it doesn't hurt to have an evened out kind of collection of what I'm keeping here. A little bit of everything. Okay, let's keep going with some bundles. I got 3 different versions here. I got the Olimar Hydrating Complexion Trio. This was actually a very pretty little palette. I did not actually use this one that much though. I also got the Ofra. This one again, kind of same concept. We got highlighter though, and then it's the bronzer and a kind of contouring shade. Super pretty looking, but I actually think I barely dipped into that one as well. Oh my goodness. And then I have the Pure, oh, this one was the wrong shade. Oh God, medium tan. This one was actually supposed to, jeez, that's spilling everywhere. Go to Corellia. I believe she forgot it here one time and then it got put in the drawer and then completely forgotten about. Oh gosh, I don't know if this is still good. I think it might still be. Okay, so I'm gonna probably have to repress that, but I'll set this aside and see if I can give this to her still. So set that one aside. Oh man, let me clean this up first. But then that just leaves us with these 2 palettes here, and I did swatch it out really quick because they were just too pretty not to. I swatched out the Olimar on this side, Ofra over here. And although these are 2 very beautiful palettes, I do really like the shades of them. I do think I'm gonna pass these along to somebody else because I have not reached for these for so long. I've forgotten that I had them. I've got too much product. Let's see if someone can get a little bit of use out of these. Grabbing a new stack here. This is actually a pile. I'm gonna be getting rid of everything. I had this Kimchi bronzer. Oh God. Well then, that one just completely fell apart. Well, I'm just making a mess in this drawer again, but this shade just wasn't really right for me. I believe I got this one in a box and it just came off a little bit too orangey on my skin tone, so that's why I'm getting rid of that one. I'll clean that up in just a second. But another one that the shade just wasn't right for me was this Kylie one. This was Tawny Miami, but this one is really old, as you can kind of tell by the texture here. I had this for, I mean, it's gotta be over like 6 years now. This is not usable. So again, getting rid of. Another one that the shades just weren't right was this one by PYT Beauty. Again, this one I did try to use quite a bit. I hit pan on my own. A couple of chunks are kind of coming off. I didn't really use this side over here. This was like a shimmery bronzer on this side. We had a matte bronzer on that side. I really like the matte bronzer, but just didn't really use that side too much. So yeah, this one's going. Then last but not least of the stack, I have this bronzer by Ofra. This is their Americano shade. This one I did get in BoxyCharm, and it was another one of those shades that was just a little bit off for my liking. So this one was one I did try a whole bunch to get to love, but just ultimately ended up going in this drawer and kind of getting forgotten about. That's actually one of the reasons I did get rid of my subscription boxes. I mean, there were a bunch of different reasons, but that's one of the main reasons. It was getting things that I didn't really love, and I was kind of like putting away in a drawer, which, I mean, I'm gonna start trying to be a little bit more picky with my makeup from now on. New stack of 4 here, and again, I'm gonna be getting rid of all of these. I got this one, which I don't even know the brand of. I think this is Physicians Formula, but I can't be sure. It's one of these like multicolored, you combine them to make a bronzer shade ones, and I just really didn't use this one. It wasn't one of my favorites. I had this bronzer by Basic Beauty. Oh, this is actually a 3 palette one, that's right. And again, nothing wrong with these shades. It's just a palette that I didn't really reach for all that much. Too many shades, gonna try to rehome. I got the e.l.f. Golden. There we go, another one of these palettes. And actually upon further inspection here, I have not even touched this palette. So I'm gonna close this one right up and pass this along to someone else. Just because it's a palette, I'm trying to steer clear of like bronzer palettes at the moment. And then last but not least, we have Forever Sunkissed by e.l.f. This one wasn't actually a bad bronzer. I did really like this shade, but this one is kind of older compared to the other ones that I'm gonna be keeping, so I'm just gonna get rid of it purely because of that. Then 2 more large palettes here, and I mean, you kind of see my theme here with the palettes. I just don't use them much, so right now it's not been making much sense to keep them. This is the Morphe 8L palette. And I mean, you get so many options in here. Bronzers, contours, highlighters. Every kind of color you would need, you kind of have it in here. So if you like palettes, you like big varieties, it's a very cool palette. Just not what I'm wanting at the moment. That one was kind of easy to part ways with it. This one is a little bit tougher. This is the Tarteist Pro Glow palette. I remember being so excited about this one, and I did actually use this one quite a bit because I do like the shades of it. I like the bronzers, I like the highlight, I like the blushes. I just kind of like the variety in this one. This one I was very happy with just because it was kind of an even mix. It wasn't just all bronzers, like a bunch of them, and all highlighters, a bunch of different ones. I kind of like that you had like the bronzer, blush, highlight trio. Do I want to keep this one? Okay, I might hang on to this one for a second. Okay, we'll hang on to it for now. But we actually only have 11 more products to talk about, so let's grab a couple more. And I'm gonna grab some minis I have here. I got 3 different versions. This one is super duper old. This is the Too Faced bronzer. Oh God, it looks gross, don't look at it. This is the Chocolate Soleil Medium Deep Matte Bronzer. I use this one so freaking much. I've had 2 versions of this one. I had a larger one and I had the mini. Love this product. I think this one only got set aside because I had so much product coming in at the time, but this one actually is a great bronzer. So in all honesty, I would 100% repurchase this one in the future. Then I got this Hoola bronzer, and I don't know if it's just me, but I felt like whenever I attempted to use this, it was so difficult to actually get product onto my brush that I felt like I barely got any bronzer onto my face, and I just kind of got frustrated with it. So I don't know if it was like maybe a layer they have on top that I have to scrape off. I don't know what it was, but this mini just like didn't work. The product just did not want to go on my face. Then I got this other mini by Lovecraft Beauty. I'm not sure the shade name. It doesn't say on the back here, but that's what the shade looks like. It is very pretty. It does look like a nice matte shade that I would enjoy. I just don't know how long this one's actually been in my drawer. So for that reason, it's gonna go. Another set of 2 here that are gonna be going. I have the Gigi Gorgeous. This is a duo bronzer. You get 2 different shades, and I'm just not a big fan of these duos in the same pot. It's difficult to only be able to use one. You can't always swirl them together, absolutely, but I don't know. It's just not my preferred kind of bronzer style, so didn't really reach for it that much. Then I have this one by Kinder Beauty. This is in the shade Blissful Bronze. I remember this one, it felt like it gave me the Physicians Formula butter bronzer vibes because of the impression that it has in there. And quick swatch, it doesn't look bad. It looks like a nice matte light bronzer. But again, I'm being cutthroat here, and if I leave it in the collection, I don't really know if I'm gonna reach for it all that much, so I'm gonna part ways with it now and see if I can gift this one away. We're down to the last of it now, so I only got these 6 products to choose from. 3 in each type of category. I got some like contour sticks over here and some powders. I think I'll start with the powders. I honestly don't really remember these much at all, so I think I need to do a quick swatch of them. This one is by the brand, I believe it's pronounced Hanali, but I could be totally wrong. It's their matte bronzer. It doesn't actually say a shade name back there, it just says matte bronzer, but that's what that one looks like. Let's also swatch this guy. This is from Complexion Culture in the shade Sunbath. And then third up, I got this little mini one here by Ulta Beauty. This one I got in, I want to say it was one of the advent calendar things. But this is a bronzer blush duo. No names on the back. Let's see, I'll put the bronzer down here, blush to the side of it. Which also, these three are the most recent, I would say, to my collection. So I'm thinking I might be able to keep at least one of these, and it wouldn't be too crazy, and then give the other two away. With that in mind though, I think I'll get rid of the Ulta Beauty one. The blush is super duper pigmented, looks very pretty, but the bronzer's a little bit too kind of light, I'm thinking. So I think I'll gift this one away to someone who could potentially use this a little bit more than me. So then that just leaves me between these two. And just based off of looks, I think I might keep the Hanali one. It just looks a little bit kind of more what I typically like to go for, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Then that just leaves me with these three to sort through. I got a couple different contour sticks. I got this one by Fenty Beauty. This is the cinnamon shade. And I think this one was a slight shimmer to it. Yeah, it has a little bit of that glow to it. Super pretty, but again, I don't really use a whole lot of glowy bronzers, so right away I will gift this away. I've also got the Tristique. Shade is Brazilian Bronze. I actually don't think I really used that one. And then last up, I actually just purchased this one from Sephora last week, so this is for sure staying in the collection. This is the Makeup by Mario little contour stick brush duo. So you got the contour on one side, brush on the other, and I got it in the shade Light. Oh man, and just looking at the color difference between these two, I'm definitely just gonna hang on to the Makeup by Mario stick. I think the Tristique just is not the proper shade for me. This one is, again, a newer one, so I'm gonna be gifting this one away. Dang, so that just leaves us with these 6 products being left inside of the drawer. I mean, this thing was stuffed to the brim before, so this is definitely a really good amount to be actually keeping. I was hoping to keep it at like maybe 5 or 4, but you know, 6, I'll take it. I started actually with 42 total products inside this drawer, and that's just absolutely insane for just bronzer. There's absolutely no reason for me to be hoarding that much makeup. So getting rid of 36 and only keeping 6, I think that is a huge win. But again, I'm gonna break up this series into different parts so that way we have it a little bit more manageable and it doesn't get too boring decluttering a whole bunch of stuff at once. So if you wanna see the rest of the progress, make sure you guys stay tuned for the next couple of videos. I'll be posting them and then linking them down in the bio once they get posted. I feel like the next drawer that I have to tackle is gonna be all the way at the bottom. I'm gonna go in a deep dive into my eyeshadows because that's a big one that I've been really avoiding doing, and I think once I do that, it's gonna feel really good. But that being said, I really do hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button, and I'll see you guys in my next video.